Two big NATO powers, France and Germany, have said that Ukraine should be allowed to hit military sites inside Russia, but only those Russian sites from which missiles are being fired at Ukrainian territory, not other targets. This comes amid Ukrainian President Zelensky's consistent pleas to the Western allies to allow using their weapons against military targets inside Russian territory. French President Emmanuel Macron further clarified he is not escalating by extending his support to Ukraine, since it is Russia that is organizing itself in the way. During a joint news conference in Germany, German Chancellor Olaf Scholz backed Macron, saying that as long as Ukraine respected the conditions laid out by countries that supplied the weapons, it was allowed to defend itself.
So we're staying exactly within the same framework. We think that we should allow them to neutralize the military sites from which the missiles are fired, and basically the military sites from which Ukraine is attacked. But we must not allow them to hit other targets in Russia, obviously civilian capabilities or other military targets.
Civiles ou d'autres cibles militaires.
However, Russian President Vladimir Putin earlier warned the West that NATO members in Europe were playing with fire by proposing to let Ukraine use Western-supplied weapons to strike inside Russia.
Representatives of NATO countries, especially in Europe, especially in the small countries, they should be aware of what they are playing with. They should remember that as countries with small, densely populated territories. And this is a factor that they should keep in mind before talking about striking Russian territory.
Speaking during a state visit to Uzbekistan, Putin directly accused the U.S. of wanting a global conflict. He said the ground offensive being carried out by Moscow's forces in Ukraine's northeastern Kharkiv region is the result of Ukrainian strikes on Russian territory. He added if Ukraine continues to strike residential areas, Russia will be forced to create security zones.
Everything now revolves around the events on the approaches to Kharkiv. So it was them who provoked these events in this direction. 6 months ago, I publicly said, if they continue to strike residential areas and neighborhoods, we will be forced to create security zones. And just recently, I said so. We moved on to this.
Meanwhile, the White House once again rejected Ukrainian president's request for an end to restrictions on Kyiv using U.S.-supplied arms to strike Russian territory. The U.S. reiterated it does not encourage or enable U.S.-supplied weapons to strike Russia.
There's no change to our policy at this point. We don't encourage or enable the use of U.S.-supplied weapons to strike inside Russia.
Furthermore, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky has urged U.S. President Joe Biden to attend a peace summit due to be held in Switzerland in mid-June. He said Ukraine's key allies' absence would only be applauded by Russian President Vladimir Putin. According to the report, Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris are set to miss the summit.
I think the peace summit needs President Biden, and other people who are looking at the response of the United States of America need him. If he is not present, it will be just like applauding Putin, personally applauding and doing so standing.
In the latest, Russian guided bombs killed 2 civilians in the eastern Ukrainian city of Toretsk on Tuesday, and heavily damaged 2 multi-story apartment buildings. Pictures shared by the Donetsk regional governor, Vadim Filashkin, showed damaged buildings and debris on the grounds. Filashkin said Russian forces deployed 3 bombs in the city.